Max Gowland, welcome back, Zara.
Hi, great, good to see you again.
Very good to see you, a doctor in biochemistry. We love working with Dr. Max because you explain things so clearly, and I think what we really all salute you for, you've created a range of supplements for a very targeted age range, 50 and above.
Absolutely.
Haven't you? So welcome back.
Yes.
And we're going to start, first of all, with maintaining muscle. 490-gram tub, £20 is the price, and it's 402045. I've been blogging about this. I'm not 50 yet, but I have been doing a lot more exercise, and I've really enjoyed incorporating this into my diet.
It's very important. I mean, as we get a little bit older, Craig, we'll reach 50 soon.
Yes.
Prime for your life.
Another 5 years, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Then you can have the time of your life. 50, 60, 70, that's a time where we need to take exercise very seriously, but also our nutrition really, really seriously. When you're 20, you can get away with abusing your body to some extent. When you're 50, 60, 70, you can't. You need to make sure you eat the right diet. The problem is, being an ex-scientist, an old scientist, I only believe data. I've gone right back to scratch, and I've looked at data from government studies around the world, but I've concentrated on the UK. And I know factually that us over 50s, 60s, 70s, we are really quite deficient in many minerals and many vitamins, and that's not healthy for us. And therefore I've devised the Prime 50 range to help us look after our health.
So this then is not a capsule, this is actually a powder which we mix with either milk or water, isn't it?
Yes.
So what was the reason for creating this?
This is all about looking after our muscle health. Now, a lot of females will be watching, and they may see the tub and think, oh, it's just for guys in the gym. No, no, no. This is really, really different, and it's very important, male and female. In fact, my wife uses it every day. The Zumba class uses it every day. The trouble is, as we get to 50, we tend to lose a lot of muscle mass every year, about 1 to 3%. This is the problem. And if you don't protect your muscle mass, you will lose strength.
Oh, look at the difference.
Well, that's a lovely little illustration.
My word.
Yeah, the guy on the left is 25 years old, the guy on the right is maybe 50, 60. So the BMI is very similar, but inside the muscle loses its definition and its strength.
Right.
There's a lovely MRI scan as well, just to be slightly technical. If you look at these two MRI scans, this is across the upper leg. On the right-hand side, it's a young person. The little black in the middle is the bone, ignore that. There's the grey around it, that's pure muscle. And then around that's the skin and fat mass. Somebody who's 20 years older, 25 years older on the left, you can see there's a degradation of muscle, and there's also a lot of fat ingress in the muscle. And that's called sarcopenia. It's just a natural bit of aging. And I've got much worse images than that. If you look at a 65, 70, 80-year-old, you get enormous degradation of the muscle. The trouble is, we need to look after our muscles not to look good and to muscle build like the youngsters. We need to look after our muscle because we're losing it very, very fast as we get older. That's the problem.
So what will you then do with this one? That's the reason for thinking about this one. Now, it comes with a scoop in there. Now, I must admit, when I take it, I use 2 heap scoops. I have quite a sweet tooth. I like it quite rich. And some of you have agreed. Some of you thought actually it was a bit too sweet. So actually what you could do is, of course, just use 1 scoop.
Absolutely.
Or, I guess, add more water.
Yeah, add more water. You can have it with more water or milk. I do 50-50 myself.
I love the taste. It's got a really rich milkshake kind of taste, so it's enjoyable to take.
It is a milkshakey taste. It's beautiful. It's a strawberry. We're bringing out a chocolate sometime in the future, but strawberry is the top-selling flavour.
How often should we take it?
Once a day or twice a day. I tend to take it once a day in the morning. You're getting about 20 grams of pure protein and amino acids. That's about a quarter of the RDA, the recommended daily allowance for protein. So it's a really good boost to the day.
Does it matter when we take it?
Not really.
No?
I mean, there's a lot of science which says you can take it before you go to bed. I just prefer to take it in the morning. Typically, most of us have breakfast which are very carbohydrate rich, and very protein
If you think about
non-rich.
it, most of us have sort of cereal and toast.
That's right.
I mean, there's not really much protein in that, is there?
No, very, very little. Very little. We tend to have our protein later in the evening.
Yes.
And the latest science says we should try and spread the protein through the day if we can. So this is all about trying to keep our muscles strong and active as we get older. Because falling, lack of balance, we tend to fall around a bit as we get a bit older, is the #1 risk factor for fractures. And if we fracture a hip when we get older, we can be in big trouble. You know, the statistics for hip fractures as we get older are not very good. I won't go into that in great detail. So we need to do everything to make sure that our muscle strength is retained as much as possible as we get older.
And this is a really simple way, again, of supplementing what you're already doing to really address that concern. Of course, because you've got this one here, it's $4.19. Is this a month's supply again? It is, isn't it?
It's 2 weeks, but you can extend it to a month if you just have one scoop instead of two.
So again, you see that it depends on your budget. It may well be. It's better to take one scoop every day than no scoops every day, isn't it? So if it means actually you eke it out to a month, then that's a good idea. You can have it with milk. You can have it with water. I tend to have it with water, actually.
Some people
and I
put
also
it smoothie.
Into
a smoothie.
And I also add ice to it.
That's a great idea. It tastes even better then.
Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, you can cook with it. You can sprinkle it on your porridge. I've used it in porridge many times. Stick it in the microwave. Absolutely fantastic. You're getting that extra protein. But let me leave you with a really important study, which is really why I produced this. I met the top scientists in the world. You know, this is not me throwing this together. I've really tried to go to the top guys in the world, the musculoskeletal scientists. And they did a study where they put young females and males into a bed situation where they were sedentary for 28 days. And they lost about 300 grams of muscle from their leg. That's quite a lot of muscle. They repeated it, so it's just like bed rest, nothing else, with older people, 63 years old, males and females. They didn't lose 300 grams, they lost 1 kilogram of muscle. But it's worse, Craig. They lost the 1 kilogram in 10 days, not 28.
Oh, my word.
And it gets worse. They repeated it with 70-year-olds. They lost 1 kilo of muscle in 3 days. So when you're sedentary as you get older, you do lose huge amounts of muscle mass. I'm not trying to scare people. I'm trying to say that's the fact.
Yes. So I guess then you would say a good diet, plenty of exercise, it's appropriate for you, and definitely keep up your protein.
Absolutely. The facts says it all. The facts are there.
Thank you, Dr. Max, again, for really sharing your wisdom with us. £20 the price. Check out my blog where I talk about how I use that. No, I'm not 50 yet, but I am doing lots more exercise, so try that one.